If you feel like your social media accounts are dead, this is the video for you. A couple of weeks ago, I hosted a Q&A, and one of the members of this amazing community asked about how to revive a social media account that they either stepped away from or have been using for a while and just feel like it is dead. The engagement is low, the views are low, the growth is low. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the steps to take to revive your account, no matter what platform you're using. Firstly, let's talk about the times when you should just start over versus trying to revive a dead account. I don't love to recommend starting over because we put work into growing our accounts and our marketing, and so it's not something that I typically jump to recommend. However, there are a few instances where it is wise to consider starting over. The first one is if you've had an account for a long time and you've taken a very long break from it. We're not just talking a few months, but more than a year or two. And that's because by the time you come back, there will be so many people who have followed you who are no longer active on that account. Maybe they've started a new account or left that account or are inactive. And it's also just algorithm wise, not platform's favorite thing whenever you do leave for multiple years. And so that often can be a case where you want to start over. Now, you can give it a little bit of time before deciding to start over. If you're coming back, start posting for a few weeks and being consistent and see what the numbers are like. But if it is looking like it's really low engagement and views, you might want to consider just starting fresh. Another example of a time where you might just want to start fresh is if you are completely changing your niche or industry or audience. If you've already built up an account that has an audience of people who are interested in a specific thing, and now you are changing your business and it will be a different audience that you're trying to reach, that can be really hard to do. You're going to have people who are now not interested in that new content, who are following you, might unfollow you, aren't going to engage with your content right away, which is what the algorithms look for. And so that can be more of a detriment to your account as well. So in that case, if you are starting with a new niche or audience, you might want to consider starting a fresh account and really attracting that audience that you are looking to reach. And lastly, you might want to start over if you have in the past bought followers, bought likes, or did a lot of engagement pod activities, which is when you have a group in your DMs or on another platform where the sole purpose is for you all to like each other's content, or you have to like 10 people's content and they'll like your content back. Those typically can do more harm than good, as well as buying bot followers and likes, which I hope you're not doing, but some people don't know that it can be really detrimental to your account and want those numbers to be higher. So if that's you, no shame here, but I do recommend starting fresh and not doing that for your accounts. Now that we've talked about what to keep in mind if you're thinking about starting fresh, I also want to remind you that ups and downs in your engagement and in your views is very normal, and you're not alone if you are experiencing this. Having a low period doesn't necessarily mean your account's dead and that you need to start over. It just means that we just all go through those different phases. Another thing to keep in mind is if you have been launching something recently or in a hard sales mode on your accounts, engagement does typically go down during those periods, but that doesn't mean that it can't come back up with a few of these strategies. So let's go ahead and just dive into what they are. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to be doing is reviewing your bio and your content. So as we start creating more content to revive our account, if our bio and our profile are not set up for success to attract followers, we're not going to see the growth that we want. So the first thing to do is take a look at your bio and ask yourself, does this speak to my target audience, and why would they want to follow me after reading my bio? We want a clear mission statement here that speaks to your ideal audience. We aren't trying to speak to everyone. We're trying to speak to the people who we want to be followed by. And so ask yourself, what is in it for my audience? What am I trying to provide here? It's kind of rare that people just want to follow people for selfies or family photos, things like that. So think about what you offer, whether that is behind the scenes of your journey, whether that is some sort of education, whether that is inspiration on your journey as well. It can be a mix of all of the above. So think about that and frame your bio to have a clear mission statement. Mine, for example, as an author, is helping other people feel less alone on their self-love journey. And as Marketing by Shelby in this business, my mission is to help creatives make more income and impact through their social media marketing. The next thing is your content. So obviously, as we revive our account, we're going to be focusing on content, and that's the next tip. But we also want to keep in mind that when someone comes to your page, if they don't see more of what they're looking for or what brought them there in the first place, they likely aren't going to hit that follow button. So that's why whenever I talk about viral content or, people wanting to create something that goes viral, if they come to your page and don't see more videos or content just like that, they're likely not going to follow. So it doesn't always help us grow when we have a viral moment. When you do have a piece of content that does well, try recreating something similar so that you have more of that type of content that people are enjoying on your page, and people will be more likely to hit follow. And that's why it's important to have a consistent brand where you are posting similar content that will resonate with your audience, that might be relatable or inspirational or educational or all of the above, that people can go to your page and not just find that one post that drew them to your page, but they'll find more. And so as you're creating your content, do keep that in mind to stay focused on your target audience and what they're going to be searching for. That will help you grow your account and have more people hitting that follow button. Now, if you are looking to grow your audience from scratch, from zero, I do have a video on that as well, and the types of content to create. So I'm going to link that above if you're on YouTube, or in the description of this video in the show notes if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, so that way you can find it. All right, so let's move into the actual content now. If you are looking to revive a dead account and you are not getting the engagement and the growth from your target audience, it's time to take a step back and ask ourselves how well we truly know our audience, and take some time to do some research. Now, I recommend that everyone do this regardless of whether or not you have a dead account or your account's doing great, because there's always something new to be learned and new ideas to be formed. So take some time to scroll through social media, to use a tool like Google Trends to research content, research topics that people are searching for. I did a video on that tool as well as some other tools for content creation. So again, I will link that one as well. And also search some keywords related to your niche or industry on social media and just start scrolling. See what your audience is posting about, what types of content they're creating, the hooks that they're creating. And also, as you scroll, pay attention to the types of hooks and content that stop you from scrolling and make you want to learn more or hit follow, and all of that, because that is one of the best ways to actually learn what is currently doing really well. What is going viral? What is getting more engagement than other posts? What is stopping me? Because a lot of the times the things that are going to stop us are going to stop other people as well. The other thing to think about is that whenever we are trying to revive a dead account, that sales posts are likely to get less engagement than posts that are not trying to pitch us something. That's just human nature. We like relatable things, funny things, inspirational things. And when we're being advertised to, that's not as engaging, typically, not always. And so if you are trying to revive a dead account, focus on content that is relatable, inspirational, funny, educational, something to give your audience an emotional reaction, and just focus on that for a little bit before diving into your sales. Now, we run businesses, we are creatives, we want to make sales from social media. So I still, of course, recommend that you incorporate sales into your content strategy. Utilize Instagram stories to sell to your most engaged followers on Instagram. Go live and talk about your products and show them off. But when it comes to reviving your content itself, your posts, it's okay to spend a little bit of time really getting into your target audience's minds and relating to them in some way. Okay, and then the next step that I think too many people forget about or put on the back burner is going to be being genuine and actually being social on social media. It not only helps you form connections for future collaborations, for people to engage with you back, which shouldn't always be the goal. I don't teach or believe in like follow for a follow back, things like that is not what I'm saying. However, you will find that the more that you are interacting with other people in a genuine way because you like their content, that they likely will enjoy your content as well. And that can help give you a boost if you are starting from scratch or if you are trying to revive a dead account that you have not been engaging on for a while. The other benefit is that the algorithms want you to be engaging. They don't want you to just come onto social media, post your post, and then leave for 3 days and then come back again to post and then leave again. It's a social platform. It's called social media for a reason. So do spend some time engaging with others. You can combine this with the last tip whenever you're researching and scrolling through social media for the intents and purposes of coming up with content ideas. Engage and interact with your audience as well and other people in your industry or community. Making those connections can benefit you for future collaborations. It's one of my favorite ways to connect with people, and usually we figure out that we have things in common, or we want to do a giveaway together, or I'll promote their latest book launch and they'll talk about mine. So those types of connections are always beneficial in the business world as well. And lastly, if you are struggling with a dead account, start incorporating more CTAs to get more engagement on your posts. If people aren't given an action to take, they likely aren't going to take one. So you don't have to encourage people to comment on every single post, but if you are creating relatable content that makes someone laugh or is educational, encourage them to save the post or to share it with a friend or to ask them a question so that they feel like they can share a comment in return. And make sure that you're engaging back with those people so that they do continue to feel encouraged to share their thoughts because they know that you're going to actually read it and reply back. Okay, so hopefully you've gotten some tips out of this on changing up your strategy and incorporating some new things to revive your account. Now, keep in mind that this takes time. You're not going to see results tomorrow, and you're probably not going to see results next week either. Usually, whenever you change things on social media, it takes some time for the algorithms to adjust. It takes time for your audience to adjust. And so give it 60 to 90 days of being consistent with it. And that doesn't mean you have to post every single day. Just stick to a cadence that you can, like 2 to 3 times a week. If that's a good cadence for you, do more or do less, depending on your bandwidth. But just keep that in mind that it is going to take time and it's not instant. Really, nothing in marketing usually is. If you enjoyed this episode, please do hit subscribe because I have some exciting things coming your way. An interview with an author next week on some of their social media strategies, as well as other marketing strategies that have worked well for them in selling books. I also on YouTube will be posting a building my home library vlog soon, which I'm so excited to share with you. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. I will leave you on this one for now. See you next time. Bye.